It is my great pleasure to introduce photographer Ed Kashi, who has photographed in more than 60 countries. His images have appeared in every major magazine, projects of engaging cultural images that have won prizes from Pictures of the Year and World Press Photo. Michael Watts is Chancellor's Professor of Geography and Development Study at UC Berkeley and author of 5 books, including his latest in cooperation with photographer Ed Kashi, Curse of the Black Gold, 50 Years of Oil in the Niger Delta. I'll make this introduction by means of a compilation of comments by editor David Elliot Cohen, who could not be here with us today because he has a deadline for the book that he's producing, the next photo essay book on Mandela. The title of the forum comes from the title of the book to which they are major contributors. What Matters contains 18 photo essays about the essential issues of our time by some of the great photojournalists of this generation. All spent years in field work and hard hours on difficult issues. On the story that we learn about today, the price of our oil addiction, scenes from the Niger River Delta. Michael Watts was shot by Mend rebels, and Ed Kashi was imprisoned by Nigerian troops. So suffice it to say that all the stories in this book were shot under very tough conditions and usually with insufficient pay. Imagine having that passion and having such a powerful inner need to tell the stories that need telling, no matter what the obstacles. Our guests create books about something that really matters, namely, how the language of photojournalism can enlighten readers about the crucial issues of our time. How photojournalism has the ability to capture a decisive moment and serve it up for consideration and actually make you, the viewer, think about the meaning of that particular moment in time. Great photojournalism is always personal and specific, but then manages to make a leap that compels you to think about the larger ramifications of that moment and what it's showing you. That's what great photojournalism does. One great photograph can change the world. And when one great image resonates with one talented and dedicated person, like the people sitting in this auditorium, and that person digs deeper and learns more and then takes action that creates positive change in the world, then these books are invaluable. Now our guests will take you on that journey of engagement. For your part, find out which image will resonate for you. What action will you be inspired to take? So Ed, to start off, we'd love to hear about what has made things in the world resonate for you, why you choose these topics, and how you got involved with this project of What Matters.
Well, first of all, Margo, thank you so much for inviting us here, and thank you all for coming, and this is really wonderful, really cool. And I think it's important, and Michael is an educator, he understands this, to capture minds early on, right? To inspire them and to get them engaged in the world. I think that's critical. Always has been, and I feel it's never been more so the case. And in a sense, it's Michael who got me involved with the Niger Delta, actually, and thank goodness for that. When we went in 2004 for the first time together, once I went there, I couldn't divert my eyes anymore to what I had seen, to what Michael, through his incredible contacts, more than 30 years of experience in this place, in this very difficult place, allowed me to glimpse this sort of unacceptable situation, tremendous economic inequity, environmental disaster, and really get a view into how oil is just not sustainable and the damage it causes to the indigenous communities from which it comes from. I think everywhere in the world, pretty much everywhere in the world, I can't think of a place where oil doesn't cause some amount of damage. Maybe the Gulf states, the Arab Gulf states, I don't know. But anyway, and then I continued for 2 more years to work on this project on my own, impassioned. I'm always looking for a personal project. For me, as a documentarian and photojournalist, if I am not engaged in a project that I am not personally connected to, then something's not quite right in my life. It doesn't matter how much I'm working, how much money I might be making, how much I might be getting published. If I am not doing something that I am personally engaged with, then there is something sort of fundamentally wrong with my life. And so from 2004 to 2006, this became sort of my passion play. And yeah, it's amazing what I learned, and I'm just grateful that we were able to produce this book. And now what I am trying to do with the continued support and wisdom and guidance of Michael and others related to this issue is figure out how to advocate on this issue, how to take this material, these media materials, if you like, words, pictures, sound, from this place, and how do we reach people of all ages, but particularly our youth, and get them to see what is going on in places like the Niger Delta, to understand the implications of sort of the hydrocarbon myth, this idea that the lights always go on, the gas stations always have gas to fill our tanks with, and what are the implications of this to the people from which this resource comes from, as well as what are the implications for the environment. Because from what I have learned, working in Iraq, working in the Niger Delta and other oil-producing places in the world, is that it is just not sustainable, that we have to change our ways. And I don't know if there are any scientists or inventors among you guys, but if you can figure out a new energy source that will not destroy the world, go for it, because that's what we really need.
So before we hear from Michael, let's take a look at this incredible piece of text and image that they have created.